Happy Sunday afternoon. Hopefully, your Sunday, wherever you are, is as dry as you can make it. John here, you there. And it's a little different. I admit it. It's a little different. What we're doing on a Sunday afternoon is getting you ready for 2026 and seeing what the schedule layout is, who gets what when it comes to the gigantic planetary extravaganza that's going to be held, the competition that's going to be held in this particular hemisphere. And we'll see how it all lays out. Who gets what the venues look like, and what the scheduling is. Afternoon Pars, thanks for hanging out with us. So basically, we're watching and learning in real time, and we'll see what's going on here. I've got my notepad, got the multiple pens ready to go. I think Maddie Cruz may be crashing in just a little bit, just to kind of give her points of view as we go. So going to be looking at it in a couple of different ways. So you might see my ear a little bit. I'm going to have to kind of turn and see how things are laid out. But here's the deal. The venues, the venue cities, Toronto, Vancouver, Guadalajara, Mexico City, Monterrey, Atlanta, interest to those of us here in the SDH footprint, Boston, yeah, some kind of tournament or something, OG, Dallas, Houston, and in 26, I can pretty much guarantee you that SDH will be using our Southwest studios, and we'll be doing some work in Dallas. Houston, KC, LA, Miami, the Meadowlands, Philadelphia, Bay Area, which probably means Levi's, and Seattle. So here's how the vote went down for those of you that might have blocked it out of your mind. Back in June of 2018, the unified bid got 134 votes in the final round, 65 to Morocco. The Iran National Soccer Federation voted none. Cuba, Slovenia, and Spain abstained. So 134 of the 200 went to Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. So here's your venues as it's all laid out. Estadio Azteca in Mexico City, MetLife, bid book capacity of the Meadowlands at 87,157. Arlington's capacity is listed. Jerry World's capacity is listed at 80. Bid book lists it at 92.9, expandable to 105. And hopefully they can handle things a little better than they did when it was the Super Bowl. That might be why things are. And so Maddie Cruz hopping on here. Maddie, going through the venues really quickly and trying not to watch Kevin Hart discuss things. And I've heard Kim Kardashian might be a part of the conversation as well. We're just going to talk about venues and who gets what, where, and when, and we're gonna roll through this.
Wait, she's going to be a part of
the presentation on the telly.
Yeah,
on the telly, apparently she's going to be a part of the presentation. So we got that to avoid. So in the stadiums, once again, it's Arrowhead in Kansas City, NRG in Houston, Mercedes-Benz is expandable to 83,000. SoFi expandable to 100,000 to 40 capacity under normal circumstances, 70,000 to 40. The Link in Philadelphia, Lumen in Seattle, Levi's in Santa Clara, Foxborough. You've got Miami. You're going to have a Hard Rock available there. BC Place available in Vancouver. Estadio BBVA in Monterrey, which is gorgeous, by the way. Fantastic views. Estadio Akron in Guadalajara, and BMO, which is a capacity right now of 30,000. But there have been plans for a very long time to expand BMO they're expanding it to 40, so they're expanding it by 50%, 45,736 for the tournament. So that's what we're staring at. That's your 16 venues. And we get to see the three regions. You have the West region, the Central region, and the East region. Central region includes Monterrey and Guadalajara. Vancouver is in the West, and Toronto is in the East. You have 8 Central region venues of the 16 that are available. And Maddie, I know that as all of these three countries are co-hosts, I know that we were looking at it all. And this is going to be the one where we end up with 48 chasing after the title here in 2026 and finding out in short order. How excited are you about finding out who gets what, where, and when?
I'm excited because I personally, as a fan of Atlanta United, I love Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I personally would love for it to be us for the final, but I just know that's not going to happen. I'm trying to be realistic. Would it be great if it is? Absolutely. But will it? Most likely not. But I'm excited to see kind of where everything falls into place because I have an idea in my head of like where I think each game is going to be played. But I'm excited for it to finally be like, okay, we know for certain which game it is, so I can go buy tickets for when it's in Atlanta.
You better start saving now. I think that's probably the way to go
Oh
about it.
gosh. Yeah.
Gianni Infantino looks like he's wearing a very stylish, matching earth tone. Looks like he's got a hooded sweatshirt under a blazer and a button-down shirt under the sweatshirt. So it's an interesting look from Gianni Infantino here. He's down with it all. He's got the zip up going. He's got the matching khakis and the tennis shoes. So it's a loose environment. And
where are you watching this? Because I have it on my phone right now.
I am watching it on. I'm watching it. I have it up on both monitors, not knowing if it was going to be a different experience. But I'm watching it on Universo and on Big FOX. So it is there.
Okay, I'm putting it on my big TV because I had it on my phone because I didn't know you could watch it on Fox. So.
Yeah, it's on Big FOX, and Jenny Taft is holding court with the cool Gianni Infantino, and so it literally is dress shirt, zip up hoodie, and blazer over the top of both of that. So it is the matching outfit. So the president of FIFA, he's down with the entire experience. He is down with it, I'd say.
I do love that Kevin Hart is there. Kevin Hart is great. Love him. He's great.
But what does Kevin Hart know about the sport? That would be my first question. Is he there to learn, or does he know things?
He is Kevin Hart, so I just like him because he's a great comedian. I think he's very funny. I don't know how much he knows about the sport, but great that he's there.
Yep. Once again, we talked about the United 2026 bid, 68th FIFA Congress, first World Cup since 2002 to be hosted by more than one nation. The previous two being the 1970 and the 1986 tournaments. Mexico becomes the first country to host or co-host for the third time. The U.S. hosted once again, remember, back in 1994. Canada's first time hosting on the men's side. The event's going to return to its traditional northern summer schedule. Hallelujah.
Oh, goodness.
Book it. We're going back to the normal summer schedule. Afternoon Badger. Pars is asking if do we know if the soccer tournament's going to be adopting the mid-season format the NBA started this year. I think they're calling it group playoffs. I do not know off the top of my head. And like I said, I have our friends muted, our network friends muted, so we can have our conversation and not be bogged down by Kevin Hart. And so if they are divulging any kind of information, then it will be news to me as we go. So do not be surprised if we're doing at Pars, like you said. I think that you're going to have that stoppage like we've had in years past, where season starts here in this particular hemisphere, and then you get your stoppage, and then you end up with the second half of the season. And so I think that you're going to have your midpoint. Everybody's going to sit there and look at it and go, yep, all right, we're going to get started, and then we're going to go to the rest of the tournament and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, we're going to learn about all of this stuff together. I know that looking at all of this, and they're supposed to be taking care of this within a half an hour. So they're on the clock. They're within 22 minutes now of supposedly being done with this this breakdown of everything. And we have yet to, if they're on a 30-minute clock, Maddie, we've yet to see anything involving a finals venue or anything. I mean, I don't know if they're going to take the final and sit there and say the final's going to be here, or if they're going to build to the final. I don't know if they want to bury the lead, or if they want to sit there and go, yeah, we'll save that information to the end because everybody figures it's going to be Jerry World and any place else. Excuse me. Morning, morning, Harry. This is the live watch along / analysis of the 26 schedule. So we're kind of lying in wait. We have please tell me that Gianni Infantino is not going to press the mini FIFA trophy to come up with his. It's like his button that we have at Office Depot. To just make sure that he's not going to press that button. So like an imaginary button on top of the FIFA trophy to get everything squared away. Okay, so he's turning the trophy.
Whoa, you're ahead of me.
Okay, so I'm watching on Universo once again. So Mexico City, and it's a celebration of Mexico City gets the opening game.
Wow.
So Mexico City gets the opener. Mexico City opening match, June 11th at Azteca. I think ropes might even be a little bit ahead of both of us. So once again, as we go through all of these venues, Estadio Azteca, capacity 87,523. So Mexico City gets the opener for 2026. And then that does make a whole lot of sense with the history that is there that's attached, that Mexico City would end up getting the premier event here in the tournament. See, now Andres Cantor, for me, just give him the whole thing. Give him the full half hour and let him rock and roll. That's how I would lay all of this out. So makes a lot of sense, and it would not surprise me if you had obviously the home country getting that first match and laying everything out that way. So once again, Mexico City gets the opener. The match schedule laid out. Group stage matches in Guadalajara and Mexico City on June the 11th. Monterrey gets there first on June 14th. It goes back and it bounces in and around. So all of the host elements that are attached to the 3 Mexico bid cities, those are now in the books. And having blown through them incredibly quickly, we'd like to thank FIFA for the really quick graphic to where we can get things a little bit underway. Ana Katie Hernandez is a part of it all as well. And so it comes back to 17, 18, the 20th, it looks like. 23rd, you get a doubleheader, Mexico City, Monterrey on the 24th, and then it wraps up there a little later on. So let's see. So of course, nothing like having something in your ear that you didn't want to hear.
I'm so sorry. Was that me again?
No. It's like I'm trying to do like 9 different things, and every time I expand it, it's like I want to make sure that everything is laid out. I'm trying to hear, but I want to hear certain other things. It's like I don't want to hear everything. I don't want to hear everything.
I will say I liked that little graphic that they gave us. It was nice. Like it laid things out very nicely. So I really like that. As someone who does graphics, for games, I liked it. It was very good production. Good job.
Yes. So we like the little Tic Tacs. We like the Tic Tac layout that they gave us from Mexico City. But yes, it does make a whole lot of sense. 2 games at the Azteca and 1 in Guadalajara for El Tri. So that's what you're looking. Once again, no real surprise there. 2 games at the Azteca, 1 in Guadalajara for El Tri as we're working our way through this. So once again, no real surprises as of yet. And I know that everyone is, I know at least in our footprint, they're trying to figure out, all right, so what's the deal? How's it laying out? Who's going to go where? June 11, 2026. Set your calendars now. That's the match at the Azteca. And so that is match 1. Match 1 on the 11th of June, 2026. So that's what we're staring at here as everything continues to roll out here, and we're going to look at the full grid. Once the grid gets fully laid out, then we'll discuss in depth. But yeah, it does make a whole lot of sense early on. Now I want to know what's going to happen with the other partner. I want to know what matches are in Canada, and I want to know when that starts. So that for me is the next element in all of this. We've got 1 home country down, and we've got now I want the second home country to get their bid squared away. I don't know if they're
Agreed.
gonna. I don't know if are they gonna make it. They're really gonna have to fly here. I mean, this is you're like they've blocked out a half an hour. I mean,
Yeah,
Universo.
especially with all them like talking. Like there's so many people like, giving like the commentary, doing all that stuff. And I think it's great, but I'm also like, if you have a 30-minute window.
Mm-hmm. 30-minute window. And that's so, yeah. And Ropes, I'm right there with you. Ropes wants to know who gets the semis and the quarters.
Me too.
That's where, that's what we're staring at here. Who gets the semis and the quarters? Here's just my innocent projection in all of this. My innocent projection that has no basis in fact or reality. I figure that the semis will go to SoFi and to the Meadowlands, and that Jerry World will get the final. So
Ooh.
that's my guess. Gianni Infantino and his coolness, his cool khaki-ness, has returned to the sit-down portion of the set.
Well, am I crazy, or didn't the president of FIFA go to the Dallas Cowboys? That's AT&T Arena. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's
I
it.
think
Yeah,
so.
that's Jerry World. Yeah, that is
I think,
Jerry.
yeah. I figured it was. Yeah, I'm not caught up on my NFL lingo, but I saw that, so I would assume it would go to Dallas, the final. I feel like that's already
Yeah,
pretty much confirmed with
yeah,
everything going on.
yeah, and that to me, yeah, Ropes, I'm with you. I'm assuming that Dallas gets the final just because you're going to want that venue, and I think it has to have over 80 to be a part of all of this. Mercedes-Benz could be expanded to 83. That was what
Yeah,
they put. That's what they put in the bid book. SoFi can be expanded, and they could be expanded to 100,240. That is what the bid book said for SoFi. Jerry World can be expanded to 105,000. And once again, the point that Maddie made about the Dallas Cowboys visit by Gianni Infantino, you want to avoid what happened in that last Super Bowl. You want to avoid that, where folks were charged an incredible amount of money. They didn't have tickets. There were, things wrong with the stadium infrastructure. And you were also outside in the plaza, and you got charged an incredible amount of money just to go out there and stand. And all of those issues you're hoping that are going to be addressed, redressed, what have you, as a part of all of this. So that's the element for me. Rope says Infantino is a lame Lex Luthor. So that's the that is the big stumbling block, and I think that Badger says he's going with a hipster Blofeld. Okay, so who does he remind you of? Who does Gianni Infantino remind you of? Everybody, we've got a lame Lex Luthor, and we've got a hipster Blofeld.
this outfit is really very interesting. Like
It's very khaki. It is
yeah.
very very, very khaki, and he's got the courtesy laughs and
Mhm.
everything all locked down. And I saw in the announcements that there was supposed to be a Kim Kardashian that was attached to this. I don't know where specifically, but maybe it's a part of the LA announcement, and she's going to be out at SoFi or something, standing around welcoming the world to SoFi for a semifinal or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know who's going to be at all of these particular live shots, but
Yeah, I have it on. I don't know if y'all can hear it. I don't want us to get like copyrighted or
oh no,
something.
no, yeah, no, that's. So mute your TV.
I'm
Just
muting it right now. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
you go. So yeah,
It's
mute
muted.
the. So this is like I said, my head's on a bit of a swivel here. I'm trying to sit here and figure out what is being posted on the whole layout
Mm-hmm.
of all of this. And yeah, Kevin Hart is not being other than looking at the laughter. Kevin Hart is not being received well on the 280 character app. So yeah, that's not going over well with all of that. Not really planning on watching the show online because it's already there. So schedule announcement with Kevin Hart. Like I said, and Ropes, I think you're square. I think that you're right on. I think that okay, I see how this works. I just saw a third banner. Drake is also a part of this announcement. So I imagine here's how it's going to lay out. For anything involving the Canadian bid, they're going to toss to Drake. And for the latter section of the semifinal, final, whatever's involving Los Angeles, that's what I think is going to get figured out with all of this.
That would make a lot of sense. And you are correct, because Kim Kardashian, it was listed. I'm on the FIFA World Cup Twitter X page, and
Yes.
so that's what it says.
Yep. Yeah. So for those watching, I mean, once again, remember, our friends at Universo have this blocked out for 60 minutes. I think this is where we're heading. Our friends at Fox have this blocked out for a half hour. So unless Fox and Jenny, they're going to leave Jenny Taft after 12 minutes, I don't think that this is going to change. I think that what you're going to see is magically something's going to happen with Big Fox at 3:30, and they're just going to keep right on going with what's going on. Okay, so I believe this means that Victor Montagliani, who is our CONCACAF leader, he is going to be the one to turn the trophy. He's going to do the turning of the symbolic mini trophy and get everything squared away. So BMO, and here's your Toronto promo. And this is where I'm guessing that young Aubrey Graham, yes, there, see, okay. So young Aubrey Graham is going to be a part of the discussion when it comes to how Canada will be ready. Because once again, we mentioned that the bid book says that they're expanding BMO by 50%. They're going from 30 to 45 to take a look at all of this. And once we get through the promotional video, we'll be able to see. Well, yeah. Well, Ropes, will they have a federation? That's the biggest question.
Oh, no.
I mean, because of all the trouble that's going on right now, Canada might be in a world of hurt. I mean,
That is very true.
everything going on with Canada soccer right now. It's okay. So we change Vancouver. Vancouver will get day number 2. Toronto will open in Canada will open in Toronto on June 12. Vancouver gets a game on the 13th. Then you end up with Toronto getting another match on the 16th, and then the 17th is when the first time that Canada will be in the group stage playing in Vancouver. So that's where we are with Canada. So Canada will start in that particular bid window, and Victor Montagliani is now answering questions. I imagine that they're going to be incredibly cool questions from Andres Cantor. So they are going to be group stage matches all the way through the 26th, one in Vancouver and one in Toronto. They're going to have one in Vancouver on the 24th, one in Toronto on the 23rd, one in Toronto on the 20th, and it looks like Vancouver is going to get one on the 21st. So that's where we are. 2 games in Vancouver for Canada, and then the opener for Toronto. So group stage for the Canadian men's national team will go Toronto, Vancouver, Vancouver. So that's the home games that they're going to be getting. James Duthie is now a part of the discussion on Universo. And so,
Wow.
yeah, so they've gone up north, and they're catching up with our buddy James Duthie from TSN. So Duthie is going to be breaking stuff down with all of the experts that they have up north. So you saw that. I'm guessing that the cameo from Drake in the promotional video, that might be all that we're getting from Drake. That might
Maybe.
be all. Mauro Biello. Okay, so Mauro Biello, the interim Canadian coach, Mauro Biello is now is with the Q&A with James Duthie after getting the toss from Andres Cantor and Victor Montagliani. So that's where we are. So yeah, and Badger says that BMO needs to fix this. Well, they need to move the welcome mats. They need to move they need to move the welcome mats that hurt Brooks Lennon when he slid off when he was walking off the turf and slid on one of the welcome mats at BMO. That's what they've got to fix more than anything. But there's the way that BMO is laid out. The end zones would be where they would expand that 30 and get to 45. So that's what we're staring at right now. All right, so rope sets a lot of space for the United States, and that's probably what they're going to do with Kim Kardashian in his mind. Parr says, joke's on everyone. Finals in Yankee Stadium for nostalgia and unique experience of play compared to all other venues in North America.
I think I would freak out. I think I would actually I think I would. I would protest it. I don't even care who would be in the final. I would protest.
The
That
bandbox.
field is awful. The fact that the league even allows NYCFC to play on that. Oh my god, I could get into a whole rant about this. It infuriates me.
We got time.
God, it infuriates me so much. And you want to know what I just think about too? You know, when they won everything, their little banner that's up there. I'm sorry, it really gave me a little giggle. It really made me laugh. I was like,
it should have given you a bigger giggle than a little one.
Oh, it was like the presentation of it. You would expect it to be this big, like, ooh, look at our banner. And then it was just like a bloop. And there it was. Oh my God, that field infuriates me so much. But yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so Mauro Biello apparently was introduced by our friends in the toss as the coach for now. Sounds like a 90s band, Coach for Now. So Mauro Biello getting questions. He had to adjust his IFB. And James Duthie, Coach for Now, Mauro Biello for Canada's men's national team. Man, what? That's cold. Introducing him as Coach for Now for Canadian men's national team. And Badger says if they're going to have the final in Yankee Stadium, they're going to have to go 7-aside.
It's 7v7.
Yeah, literally, and unlimited substitutions. You do it that way. I think that'd be kind
of fun. God, that would be so funny.
Yeah, and Yankee Stadium. Well, or what you do is you have like your U12 representation. So the teams that would make it to the final at Yankee Stadium, you have your U12 or your U16s. Those would be the teams that would play. So the two teams that make it to the final, say it's Argentina and the United States. Let's just say. So it'd be Argentina's U16s against the US U16s. That's how play the kids literally. That's what Badger. Yes, play the kids literally. That way you can make it a little bit more regulation, and see how it would all lay out. And so that would be funny if something like that were to go down. By the way, you can go to our friends at FIFA.com to register interest in getting tickets for the World Cup in 2026.
Really? Oh, yes. Where is that? I'm putting my name in.
FIFA.com, the parent organization that is run by the hipster Blofeld or the Lex Luthor individual over there on the left-hand side of your screen. So we know how it's going to be for the Canadian men's national team. We know how it's going to be for El Tri. El Tri is going to start at the Azteca. Makes an absolute perfect sense. And wait a second. It was a separate interview. Okay, so in addition to what was going on with hipster Blofeld, this looks like a taped piece that they wiped to with young Aubrey Graham and Gianni Infantino discussing what's going down with soccer. So we've got that. Yes, he is Drake, by the way, and because of my history in watching Degrassi, to me he's always going to be Aubrey Graham.
Oh, love Degrassi.
And so I go back to the original Degrassi, like the old Degrassi, the first version. And then Then Next Generation with Drake and with everybody, and the video, by the way, if you haven't seen the video, I'm upset by Drake. It is a mandatory watch because he brings back as many of his classmates as humanly possible for a class reunion, including Kevin and Silent Bob to be a part of it. It's a tremendous interview. So, okay, so they are 26. They've had their interview, and for the sake of continuity, whenever that interview was, it was done in the same clothing. So well done by Gianni Infantino, wearing the same outfit on the live that he did on the tape. So excellent thought pattern there, making sure good continuity.
Oh,
And
this is I just found sorry for interrupting, but I just found this. I think it's kind of funny.
what?
Um, there's a Drake curse. Don't know if you've heard of
Oh,
this.
absolutely
Oh
have.
yeah. Then so unfortunately, I mean, it looks like all right, RIP to Canada if he wears their jersey
Yeah. So
in this World Cup final.
what you want to do during the group stage is you want to make sure that Drake is wearing your opponent's jersey. That's what
Absolutely.
that's what you want. So you get Drake to pay you pay Drake whatever you want to pay him. And then what you end up with is making sure that your team that the team that you're going up against loses. That's what you're looking for in this situation. You want to
That's
make
going
sure.
to be USA men's national team fans for Mexico. That's what they're gonna send Drake. They'll be like, please do this, and then that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because they
So
all of them get bid, so it's going to be U.S. For sure, Mexico for sure, and Canada. So they're all for sure there, which is great. That's going to be
yeah,
fun.
yes.
Contrary, I do love the rivalry that is U.S. men's national team in Mexico. I love those games. Those games are so fun to watch.
Rob Stone standing at a particular location looks like he's got palm trees. There's your Kardashian sighting. And
Whoa.
once again, probably on tape, Rob Stone, Kim Kardashian, and Saint West. I don't know when he declared for sainthood, but okay. Looks like they're at SoFi, in the shadows of SoFi. And
Oh my gosh.
so Rob Stone is so USA opens in LA at SoFi.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that is the interesting element that we start in out of the blocks when it comes to the United States. So the U.S. opens in Los Angeles at SoFi.
See, that's just shocking. I would have thought with what like how big and how, crazy and how like huge SoFi is, I would have assumed that, they would be top runners for at least a quarter or semi. I originally
Well,
thought that LA was going to be for the final
well,
when
it
it
would,
first got announced.
but the thing is now, since they get the opener, does
Yeah.
this mean that they miss out on the later bigger matches?
That's what I was trying to think too, because I was like, I didn't know how to. I didn't. I was trying to think of like if these if these stadiums, they get those bids there, do they not get the chance to get a quarter, a semi, or the final? Like I just didn't know how that works. So there's how many stadiums?
there
Uh,
there are let's see how many that are not let's see how many that are not in the United States. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 11 US venues. And now it looks like okay. So Kevin Hart now has the opportunity to go back and forth with Kim Kardashian on a quick handoff and changeover. And so that's the first surprise. Don't know. Ropes don't know. Don't know. Ropes is wondering if Atlanta won't get U.S. group stage now. So this opens the questions. And
yeah.
so with literally the opener at SoFi, and we don't know once again if this means that SoFi is going to stay at its 70,000 capacity and not worry about any kind of an expansion, or if they're going to shoot for triple digits, expandable to 100,000 to 40. Don't know what this means for Los Angeles going forward. Big travel for the group stage. Yeah. So Christian Pulisic on the air, he is saying that they are 26. Yes, they are. And now we are past the bottom of the hour. So if you're watching on the big FOX, that means that they're in plus time and they haven't gone to bowling yet. If they've gone to bowling, that's a problem. Universo is still rocking and rolling with Andres Cantor. All right, so Atlanta gets 5 group stage matches.
Ooh.
15, 18, 21, 23, or 20, 24, and 27. Okay, so Atlanta, once again, 5 group stage matches, 15, 18, 20, 22, and then the last day of the group stage. So 5 group stage matches in Atlanta. That much we know. Obviously, the layout of who's going to be, we don't know that yet. But Atlanta gets 5 group stage matches as a part of this discussion, as the chicklets were dispensed rather quickly on the FIFA broadcast. So just double checking: 5 in Atlanta, 4 in Miami, 5 in Boston, 5 in Philly, 4 in Kansas City, 5 in Dallas, 5 in Houston, 5 in Los Angeles, including the opener, 5 at Levi's, 4 in Seattle. So that's where we are right now. And it looks like Greg Berhalter is sitting in front of a green screen, about ready to answer questions from our buddy Rob Stone. So Seattle is the other group venue, and it was the one that was out of the screen. So Seattle is how it lays out. Toronto, June 12. Mexico on June 11. And then the United States. 5 group stage matches in Atlanta. And most of the venues are getting either 4 or 5 when it comes to the United States. So that's what we're looking at right now, as Greg Berhalter continues to answer questions from Rob Stone as he's sitting in front of a green screen at an unknown location. So we just hope that Greg Berhalter's okay in that unknown location. Looks to be lighted very well. He's lighted very well. We will give Greg Berhalter credit. He's being lighted very well as a part of the discussion.
Very good lighting. It looks very nice.
Yes. And story time with John, and that's what kind of these shows are. My history with Rob Stone goes back to his time in Albany, Georgia.
Whoa.
Rob was a sports anchor at the Fox affiliate in Albany in his early days, and what he would do is, as a part of the programming that we had at Georgia Public, he would do like a 1.5-minute drop for highlights and everything, and he would send it back to Atlanta, and his highlight package would air in our high school show every week. And so, yeah, Rob went from anchor in Albany. I want to say he went directly from there to the 4-letter. But so, yeah, my knowledge base with Rob Stone goes all the way back to his time in Albany, Georgia as a sports anchor. And Ropes, I do not believe that he is at that particular household, sir. I believe that is not the case.
Oh, you read that? You read that? I was waiting for you to see it.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Ropes. I interviewed Nancy Lopez once, and Nancy Lopez, the tremendous women's golfer, she's married to Ray Knight, and I interviewed her, and she said that in her time, and when she was married to Ray Knight, and she learned how to pronounce the name of the city. It's like you're talking to two dudes, one named Al, the other named Benny, Al Benny. So if you're from South Georgia and you're a native, that's how they pronounce it, like the two dudes' names, Al Benny. That's how it's all laid out. And so the Chicklet check is behind the 4-shot now of Andres Cantor, Gianni Infantino, Kevin Hart, and Jenny Taft. So we do have the layout, but our friends at FIFA have yet to post said layout so we can all see the Chicklet check that they have posted, laid out, and have otherwise made available to those who are watching on the television side of things. So that's what we're staring at right now when it comes to all of these venues. What I'm looking for, yes, and so Kefsey, it looks like they're gonna walk through. They're gonna walk us through it. Literally, they're gonna walk us through the whole thing, and it's going to be okay. We've gone through the group stage. What's next? The knockouts. And so
Well,
then,
this does mean now, since everyone gets the groups, everyone has a group stage, at least every stadium does.
yeah,
This
4 or
means
5.
that any of them can now be in the running for. But that does peg the question still, if SoFi is the opener for the US, did
Yes.
they give up that opportunity? That still pegs that question.
That's the big question here, is that did SoFi, by getting the opener, and we don't know what the venue size is. When you get to the later rounds, FIFA has absolute numbers as to what they need to have when it comes to the layout of, all right, so if you want a knockout game, you've got to have a capacity of X. If you want the semis, you've got to have a capacity of X. Did SoFi balk and say, no, we're only going to do a 70,000 capacity? We're not going to expand because of the infrastructure that is engaged, and we're only going to go a certain way. So round of 32, Atlanta, if they flash the chicklets too incredibly quickly here, you see now they're doing this. They're doing it pretty sweet. They're dancing around and they're doing it pretty quickly. And so it's like they do the initial chiclet check and they run that full grid, and then they wipe it back to where it's like, oh, I thought I saw something. But then, so June 11, yes, we know this. So now that we are in the knockout stages, we're waiting to see what the capacities are going to be in the venues with all of these other elements. So once again, home opener Mexico, June 11. Home opener Canada at BMO on June 12. And for the United States, home opener June 12 at SoFi. That is where we are. All of the other venues, all the other venue cities have either 4 or 5 matches in the opening round. So that is where we are right now in trying to figure out who gets what. Atlanta has 5 group stage matches in 2026. Once again, 4 or 5 laid out all the way through. And the technical director doing a fantastic job of making sure that everything is positioned to where we have to squint to see what's going on when it comes to the tournament. Atlanta looks like it has gotten a knockout, and it's a very deep knockout game.
I also believe, if I'm reading that correctly, we also got a round of 16.
Right. So 7 matches in the round of 16. You are in the last date of the round of 16. So you get 1 match in the round of 32. You get 1 match in the round of 16. So Atlanta looking good so far.
But to answer your question earlier, SoFi Stadium, as of right now, from what I'm looking at, it says that they have around 70,000, but it can expand up to 100,000.
Right.
So
But the question is, did Stan Kroenke and the owner of SoFi Stadium want to invest all of that infrastructure dollars? Because remember, with Dallas and Jerry World, they had a press conference, I want to say last week and a half ago, where they showed literally how they're going to raise the floor of the stadium in Dallas a good 10 feet from where it currently is, so they can have a regulation pitch inside Jerry World. They literally are going to raise the floor. And they had a column with a corner flag in the corner at Jerry World to demonstrate this. They're going to raise the floor, and it's going to be a $300 million investment to renovate Jerry World, to get it ready for 26 and elevate the floor. It's almost going to be like looking at a game against Vanderbilt in Memorial Auditorium there in Nashville, where you have seats below the floor. It looks like that's the way it looked like, for me. Nothing. Yeah. So Atlanta gets a round of 16 in the East, and it looks like another couple of cities have gotten them as well. And now we're talking to Heather O'Reilly. All right. So, and Dallas, the only one who's got 9 matches out of this entire run.
Wow.
So that means that probably Atlanta, you have to look at Atlanta now as a quarter or a semi.
Agreed.
So I still think that it's going to end up being at Jerry World for the final, because guy's not going to invest $300 million in a $1.3 billion facility that he already spent money on just to sit there and get 9 matches.
Oh, absolutely.
So Dallas is the only one getting 9. And Ropes, talking about HOR, Ropes says Heather O'Reilly's the best one since Baba. I would agree. Best O'Reilly since Baba. So now, if you're looking at it from an Atlanta perspective, you're looking at it for a semi and a quarter. So round of 32, round of 32 goes to Atlanta, round of 16 goes to Atlanta. And so Dallas has obviously dotted the landscape with everything. And when all of the chiclet check is complete, we'll see if we can find a completed graphic, and we can lay out everything when it comes to how this is going to look.
I want to let all of you know, if Atlanta gets a semi, I will be very happy, and that'll be fun. If we get a quarter, if we get a quarter final, I'll be happy as well. But if we get a semi-final, ooh, that's gonna be fun.
So 5 games in Philly. LA gets the first and the third USMNT group games. Seattle gets the middle one.
Whoa.
So it is LA, so it's LA, Seattle, LA for the group. Okay, so he has spun his miniature trophy. And we're talking about Hard Rock as a part of the graphics package. So we get to see very, very shiny. Miami pictures. So we'll keep an eye. Oh yeah, we'll get to keep an eye on shiny Miami. And so my guess is, because of all of the mania and the 6 that are on the sofa now: Andres Cantor, Jenny Taft, Kevin Hart, Gianni Infantino, and then Heather O'Reilly. So it's a group of 6. And they're all laughing. So there's jocularity involved now as we're getting into the quarterfinals. And so it's quarterfinals, semifinals, final. Third place match is going to be at Hard Rock and Kafu. Thank you, Kefsi. And Badger True, Radar. That's another good O'Reilly. So Kafu, HOR, and the other 4 are discussing knockouts. We are down to all of the other matches that are here. We're looking at round of 8. Round of 4, third place match is going to be at Hard Rock. And obviously with everything going on with Messi and Friends, which will be a topic on the morning show, 9:05 Eastern time. Here's what we're going to talk about on the morning show. Obviously Messi and Friends, with what happened, they won a match against the Hong Kong national team. Messi did not play. Messi did not play, folks. Booed. And apparently the match against Vissel Kobe, which is the next one on the list, has now been pulled from the TV package and from any kind of a broadcast plan by Apple TV. So we got that to talk about. Kylian Mbappe, I know that Drew wants to talk about that. It is a part of Prem and Proper in his appearance at 10:30, where Maddie and Drew will discuss what happened in the Premier League this past week. And the Duncan McGuire saga continues to be a saga. We'll get into that. That's probably going to end up being opening kickoff tomorrow morning, because it's not over. And we're also going to start a new segment starting at about after opening kickoff. We're going to be joined by Abe Gordon and by Garrett Chapman from 92.9 The Game, the pre and the post game hosts for Atlanta United, and they're going to give us their thoughts in the A block about what they thought about Atlanta United and the match before, and the weekend before. So Abe and Garrett might be a bit of a hit and run, kind of like Drew when he joins us for Prem and Proper. So the Mondays going forward on SDH, it's going to be opening kickoff. Then it's going to be Abe and Garrett from like 9:15 to 9:30, 9:35. We'll catch your questions about everything that's going on with Atlanta United. That'll take us to 10 o'clock. Bart Keeler will join us at 10 o'clock to go through U.S. men's national team. I know that we'll talk about this tomorrow as well as a part of everything, and we'll get Bart's thoughts on the grid for 26, and we'll also get some reffing down here. So it's going to be a packed show. Maddie and Drew obviously coming on at 10:30 to discuss everything involving Prem and Proper, the review. Tuesday, remember, that is the beginning of our high school schedule. Maddie and I will be at the Big Orange Jungle as Peachtree Ridge takes on Parkview. Maddie will call the boys' game. I will call the girls' game. And you can listen to it on the SDH app and on soccerdownhere.net. Go to Spreaker. It's like speaker with an R in the middle. So Spreaker. And you can do a search for Soccer Down Here. And we'll also have some other announcements coming up in very short order because our broadcast schedule is going to get very, very busy with the high school games and everything that we have planned here coming up in February, March, April, and beyond. So Jenny Taft is checking to see if Kevin Hart is verklempt and seeing if he's with it, if he's down with it, if he's if he's in the zone with Cafu, HOR, and Gianni Infantino. 5 group stage, 1 round of 32, 1 round of 16 in the Chiclet Check and the full screen graphic. That's what Atlanta has so far. 3rd place match goes to Miami. And, yeah, Suarez didn't play there either. They were in sneakers and pants. Sneakers and pants was a lot of the folks that were there for Inter Miami. It would not surprise me if the Azteca ended up with anything in the quarters of the semis or the quarterfinals at the very least, because once again, capacity, history, and all that kind of stuff. So I would say definitely a quarterfinal for the Azteca as a part of this, as a part of the discussion. So really, once again, looking forward to seeing how everyone is laid all of this out. And then, of course, we'll sit there and obviously we'll backseat drive the ever-loving daylights out of it. Why didn't somebody get more games? Obviously, we'll get into that tomorrow. So that's the so once again, Chiclet Check is now up and running. We get to add another section to the Chiclet Check and the full screen graphics that are laid out here. And we go to Gianni Infantino, who looks like he is in a green screen studio. And he's going to probably twist a larger version of the trophy, or maybe he'll twist the little trophy again. And we will see what's going on with Gianni Infantino as we have zoomed away from Gianni Infantino. And we now get to figure out the rest of the grid. Once again, Dallas is hosting 9 matches. That's a part of all of this discussion. Now we're waiting. I feel like we need some kind of hold music. The final is in New York. This is interesting. New York, New Jersey gets the final.
What?
So it's the largest market in the country. It's the largest market. So that means to me, and once again, the final in New York, the largest market in the country for the United States, and the hub of technology and business and all that kind of stuff. So you end up with Miami getting the 3rd place game. The final goes to the Meadowlands, which means the semifinals are now last on the board. Last on the board. Dallas and Atlanta are going to be part of the quarterfinals. Looks like Dallas and Atlanta get quarters as a part of the discussion. So Atlanta gets a quarter and Dallas gets a quarter. So this to me means Dallas has to get a semi and LA gets a semi. That's how I'm looking at this. This is what I'm thinking here.
Are you from what I'm looking at? It's saying Atlanta gets a semifinal.
Is it? Oh, so is it? So it wouldn't surprise me if I'm one row off in my. Because look, I need glasses.
Yeah, it says that Atlanta and Dallas have a semi.
Okay, so there you go.
And
So
then
there you go. Okay, so like I said, I'm blind, so it doesn't matter. Um,
that makes sense though. That does
yeah,
make sense.
yeah. So Dallas and Atlanta. So one more time. So the final goes to New York, New Jersey. Like I said, as I squint, it's no surprise that I'm wrong. So yes, and they're excited. So I was looking at off days. No wonder I was wrong. So there it is. So that's what you're staring at. Round of 32, round of 16, semifinal, and everybody's happy. Third place game goes to Hard Rock. Dallas and Atlanta end up with your semifinals. Round of 32, round of 16, semifinal, and the group stage matches go to Atlanta. So Atlanta gets all the way to the semis. Your final is New York, New Jersey. So that's where we are. Atlanta comes out of this with a lot of activity. Start saving your money now, people. Save your money now. Semifinal here. And, it's so a semifinal for Atlanta. That's huge. So literally everybody, start saving your money now. Absolutely save your money now because you're going to need it by the time these go on sale. And so, of course, Gianni Infantino, never, he's always been one to be understated, very, very calm, very, very low key in his demeanor. Described it as the biggest announcement in the history of announcements when he said that the Meadowlands end up getting the final. The biggest announcement in the history of announcements, the Meadowlands end up getting the final. And capacity, bid book capacity, 87,157. So it's north of that 80 that we're staring at. So 80,000 was that number, the marker that you were looking at with all of these things. That was what you were staring at, and you end up with Atlanta getting a semifinal as a part of all of this. Boston got a quarter. So Pars called it. He said New York would get the final. Well, and that to me means that if Boston got a quarter, Tom, that to me means that everybody in Providence and everybody at Logan better get ready because, I mean, you're not going to be able to find a hotel room within an hour of that place for the quarterfinals. So, but the biggest thing here, Atlanta, once again, round of 32, round of 16, semifinal. And if I would look at off days in a calendar, as I'm trying to do a chiclet check on a 48-inch television, I could actually tell you that it was a semifinal, or that it was a semifinal, not a quarterfinal, because I'm blind. LA, Kansas City, and Miami get quarterfinals too. So that is where we are with the everything. All right, so here we go. Knockout stages. Round of 16, knockout stages. Vancouver, Seattle, Mexico City. So Azteca gets to the round of 16. Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey. Quarterfinals, LA, KC, Miami, Boston. Semifinals, Dallas, Atlanta. The third place game goes to Miami. The Meadowlands end up with the final. So Philadelphia ends up with, I think, 6 total matches in all of this grid. But right now, once again, Atlanta had a pretty good day. Round of 16, once again. Vancouver, Seattle, Mexico City, Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, Philly, New York, New Jersey. Quarterfinals, LA, KC, Miami, Boston. Semis, Dallas, Atlanta. Third place game, Miami. The Meadowlands end up with the final, in addition to all of the group stage stuff that we have that we've taken a peek at. And apparently, according to Ropes, who is looking at FIFA.com, they have done nothing when it comes to any kind of announcements about anything on anything. They ain't said nothing.
I was saying the ticket interest link is not working because I've tried it like 3 times and it has not worked.
Yeah, ticket interest, but probably because it crashed. Everybody's like,
Probably.
"Oh, let's go now, and we'll see what's up."
I
Um,
signed up for Mercedes-Benz, so I did it that way, and so I'm getting
okay,
alerts.
so
But
sign
I
up.
will say, very funny, I was looking at for the final being in New York, New Jersey, someone went, "Oh boy, ACLs are gonna be taken out that night." And I said,
Mhm. Yep,
"Listen, I didn't say it. Everyone is saying though it should have been Dallas. There's a lot of Dallas talk in there saying that it should have been Dallas." And I don't disagree. I mean, I get why MetLife. I like understand the reasoning. It's not my first choice.
right.
I would have figured that maybe they would get like a quarter, maybe a semi, something like that. But the final, like that's
Well, but once again, remember what we're staring at here. Your Atlanta gets 5 group, one in the round of 32, one in the round of 16, semifinal, and that's where Atlanta is. So, um, this is like any corporate businessman's dream, legitimately, where you want to try to make sure that you have a tournament. You want to have the industrial center of the planet involved. And so for FIFA to pair up with New York City or the Meadowlands and get that as your game, it's like, hey, are you north of 80,000? Sure, we're north of 80,000. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. How'd you do? How'd you do? Uh, you kind of figured that they would make the allowance, meaning FIFA, they would make the allowance for, okay, if you don't have 100, you're in New York. You're like at 80 and you're in New York. So, that's what I think that's what you're trying to stare at in all of this. So, San Francisco, Guadalajara, Monterrey, and Toronto do not get knockout stage matches. Mexico and Canada as a whole will host each one match in the round of 16, and that's it. After the round of 16, everything else comes back into the United States. So, literally, after the round of 16, then everything comes back in. But that is where we are. But yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for the chiclet calendar, much like ropes. I'm right there with you. Ropes is like, you think they have the chiclet calendar up. I'm waiting for the chiclet calendar to sit there and look at it, so we can all sit there and backseat drive and go, hey, Philadelphia only got a handful of things. They only got a handful of matches. They only got like 6 total, and I think they were all in knockout save of 1. But yeah, remember, this is the tournament of the 48, and so literally, as we've workshopped this, a very, very busy tournament for Atlanta, and that's a good thing. Because I mean, with Atlanta now being the center of the U.S. soccer universe,
mm-hmm.
and this is the other element of all of this, Ropes. This is the other element in all of this. This is the part that is not. This is the elephant in the room. This is Big Bear. We still have no 2027 announcement. I think they're doing bid city visits later this month. I think it's going to be here later in in the United States later this month. I think is how it's working, because I think this month they're looking at the 3 different bids. And later this month, if I remember correctly, is when they're going to be touring the United States. This should be the slam dunkiest of slam dunks ever. 27. I mean, and think about it, Maddie. Think about this.
Okay, I'm thinking.
26. You're hosting the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
It makes entirely too much sense to go back to back, because the infrastructure is already in place, and it's just a vision of continuity. Where, I mean, literally, it would be, what you'd be doing is setting up history and markers and all this kind of stuff for anybody else that wants to dance this dance. You want to host a World Cup? Cool. We'll host the Women's World Cup too, and
I
not
agree.
twice.
I agree 110%. I mean, it's a no-brainer to me, because I mean, we have the infrastructure all throughout it, clearly, as it's shown, as almost, if not, I need the little, like, the little chiclet calendar thing to prove me wrong, but I'm pretty sure from the quarters up to the final, most of them are played in the US.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, outside of that round of 16, where it was laid out by Michael Dominski at the Athletic. After group stage, San Francisco, Guadalajara, Monterrey, Toronto shut out of hosting any knockout stage matches. Mexico and Canada as a whole each host one match in the round of 16, Azteca and BMO, and then none thereafter. That's it. After the round of 16, they're done. Everything comes back to the United States. Vancouver, so BC Place, sorry. So BC Place gets a round of 16. Toronto doesn't eat because it's larger than BMO. Toronto doesn't get a round of 16. It goes to Vancouver because Vancouver, I think, seats 10,000 more. And then Mexico City, so Monterrey out. Guadalajara and Philadelphia, every host city, except for Guadalajara, Philadelphia. Philadelphia doesn't even get into the round of 32. Guadalajara doesn't get into the round of 32. LA and Dallas get 2 of the round of 32. So that's what you're looking at with the round of 32 here.
Yeah, and I mean, even with the World Cup, for like the Women's World Cup coming up like literally the year after, it makes so much more sense. Not even like the US bid more specifically, but even too just like if we're talking about the bid with Canada and with Mexico, if they're in that running too, we just did a World Cup. Like it literally happened the year before. We have everything still probably set up. We know we would probably have a better idea of how to get people in and out. Like they have everything planned to the T. So they wouldn't need to do much. And if anything, if FIFA is smart, they would, because of just how easy and how simple it'll be, because they know it can be done. And especially with where the media is going to be located, I believe it's been announced media is going to be in US.
Yeah, it's down to either Dallas or Atlanta. Is what
it's one. If we're the media center, they already have the media center all planned out, so they can just keep that the same, planning for the 2027 Women's World Cup. I mean, you literally have the foundation for it. I don't understand how they couldn't. But again, FIFA does have a tendency to kind of surprise me sometimes. So, I would, if I was on FIFA, if I was on that board, I would 100% be pulling for US.
Well, because I mean, it's always about the Benjamins, and we all know about Benjamins. And Mr. Franklin, he's going to sit there. He's going to be the one that's walking, and it's going to be
the US. If they pick the US for the 2027, they make more money.
And you combine all of your marketing elements, you combine all your sponsorship dollars, all of these kinds of things that you could combine to when it comes to all of these particular tournaments and all of this. You literally could combine all of these elements with your sponsorship dollars and across the board and make sure that it's all right there for you. And, it's like, you're like, I mean, really, bruh. I mean, this is not hard.
Absolutely. It's not.
But you've got to pull the trigger on it unless they feel so ungodly confident in, everything's fine. Everything's cool. It's going to be great. And we're going to, it will not be any issues whatsoever about all of this stuff. No, FIFA Men's World Cup, if you take me to the 22 stuff, this is going to be just crazy.
Do we know who the other bids are for the Women's World Cup? Is it US?
Efforting. I will effort that.
I will effort as well. I will look it up too.
There's like a group bid and all this kind of stuff. So US, Mexico. All right. So the 2027 bids. Here we go. Belgium, Germany, Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
Brazil, and then Mexico and the U.S. So those are the 3 that are on the table. Mexico, U.S. Once again, infrastructure in place from 26. Just roll it over to 27. Brazil, and there are economic issues involved with Brazil, economic and socio-political and all those kinds of things. Would you want to get involved in all of that? And then the UEFA bid is Belgium, Germany, Netherlands.
Well,
so
Brazil's a shock for me because and my sports management degree is going to be put to good use right here. We've talked a lot about, at least from facility management and how that works, and some of the issues with hosting big stuff like this. The last time Brazil hosted, there was riots. There was a lot of economic issues going on there. I mean, and like a lot of the stuff they had built is now abandoned. How are they going to plan and build that up? Like, I'm curious to see what their bid entails. That's what I'm curious about. Like, I mean, that's shocking to me. Now, needless to say, if Brazil has a great plan in place and they can do something with it, that's phenomenal. Then great, like whatever it is. But just from the past times that they have hosted, I don't know. That's weird to me. And I mean, honestly, too. I mean, looking at the Belgium, Germany, Netherlands. I mean, they have a pretty good running too. I mean, I would love that. I think that'd be fun too. I also just really my bucket list is I really do want to go to Germany at some point. I want to go to Europe really bad. That's just kind of I think my whole spiel here is I just want to go to Europe. I want to go to Europe because I want to go see Premier League in action in person. And I also just want to go everywhere in Europe because I think that'd be so fun. But I don't have the funds for that. So I can't do that, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, to me, the no-brainer is obviously US and Mexico. I think they already have that bid already planned out. It's already seeking that it's going to work well, especially with the 2026 World Cup. I personally think it's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. It's I mean, like I said, Jarrah's dropping 300 mil and raising his floor, and he did not get the final. He got a semi, but that will be you know that that Jarrah is not Jarrah is probably not a happy man right now.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I mean, think about it. Like I said, you're investing 300 million, and you're raising your floor. And guess what? Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's oh boy. But yeah, I mean, legitimately, the bids themselves, I think, like I said, I think the touring on the women's side is going to be the tail end of this month as they look at the 3 venues, and we'll see where the bidding process continues to go from there. But yeah, this is and it's going to be a 39-day tournament. Of course, when you have 48 teams, that's what you're staring at. But and the men's national team. Okay, so according to once again Adam Crafton, who is a must follow on the 280 character app, by the way, USMNT will be based in Southern California for the group stage. Understandable considering they play their first match and the third match there. Second match is up at Lumen. Final send-off game, according to Adam Crafton, will be in Atlanta, where they will initially train, obviously, because, Atlanta is the center of the soccer universe. So at least the American soccer universe. So apparently they're going to train here, as they should. Send-off match will be at Mercedes-Benz before they go to the West Coast, and they get ready for things June 11 and so on for the 40 days and 40 nights that is going to be the tournament in 2026. So that's where we are. And
Cool.
So tomorrow when we come on, well, first off, thanks to everybody who decided to make sure that they would stay dry and watch what's going on just a miserable day outside, by the way.
Yeah, it's compared to what yesterday was, today is nasty.
Mm-hmm. So stay indoors, stay warm, and have like warm food, unless you're going to go outside and work out or something, but make sure that you are bundled up. And so tomorrow morning on the show, Maddie, as always, thanks for coming on and being a part of the ones and twos, because you're in charge. Maddie Cruz on the ones and twos. That's how this always goes. So tomorrow morning on SDH, the Chicklet calendar, we hope, will be up and running so we can go through everything. That'll be at 10 o'clock with Bart Keeler when he comes on. So hour number 1 will be about Atlanta United and Memphis 901. Abe Gordon, Garrett Chapman coming on from 92.9 The Game, and they will discuss what's been going on. Jarrett and Nick, obviously, they'll be dropping in as well. So we'll go over Atlanta and Memphis in hour number 1. Hour number 2, Bart Keeler, 10 o'clock. We'll discuss what happened today. We'll go through and see if, Bart looking at things outside the city of Atlanta. Obviously, a great day for the capital of American soccer. Great day for Atlanta. And so we'll see what Bart thinks about the rest of it. And we'll get into 26, and we'll see what Bart thinks about that. 10:30, as always, traditionally, it is Prim and Proper, the review, where Maddie and Drew look at everything that happened on the weekend. And Drew said that he's already laid claim to the Kylian Mbappe story, and we'll be discussing that as well. So, Maddie, final thoughts before we get out of here and resume our days now that the 2026 planetary extravaganza has been decided.
Oh, I'm excited. I mean, even if you don't get to go to a game, or like at least from my perspective, us getting 8 games for such a massive thing. I'll say it again. Who said Atlanta isn't a soccer city? Because they're lying. They're lying right through their teeth. We are a soccer city, and I am so excited to see where this goes. It's gonna be so fun. I'm pumped.
5 group stage matches, June 15, 18, 21, 24. Ooh, I get a birthday present with a group stage match. There you go. And so does Patty. Wow. The family's going to be busy in June the 26th with celebrating all these birthdays. So, like I said, we'll be back at it again tomorrow, and we'll discuss what's going on all across the board. Thanks to everybody who decided to spend a really dreary afternoon with us. The audio of this will be rolled over and posted. It'll be on the network coming up in short order for those of you that want to go back and listen to all the process and rediscover just how absolutely blind I am when it comes to staring at large monitors. So, for Maddie, I'm John. That's a watch along, as the kids say these days. And so, mucha platial, play it safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. We'll be back at it again 9 to 5 tomorrow morning. It's the end of the show, so that means I get to do this.